What is going on, guys? Welcome to this episode of Odds and Ends. Today, we are going to tear down a Super Nintendo Mini. Not this Super Nintendo Mini. The original Super Nintendo Mini, the SNS-101. Yeah, there she is. I recently got this in a lot of games. I got a big, huge box of games. And we're thinking about adding this to the collection. But before we do, we need to make sure that we clean it. So those of you that don't know, this is sort of the second cosmetic iteration of the Super Nintendo. The original Super Nintendo had a few changes to it before this came along, but this is what most people consider like the Super Nintendo 2. It's very light. It was released in like 1997, October, November of 1997, and it was only like $100. And I wish I could go back in time and buy like 10 of these still factory sealed in the box, right? It was more of a budget console, I think is the word that's sort of used to refer to this thing. And there's sort of three things that stick out right away. When you turn the power on, there's no LED light to let you know that the console is running. I actually don't like that at all. I like to have that nice little safety net there, that little glowing light that lets you know that the console is on. If you turn it around, they've removed the RF attachment, so you can only hook this up through your standard AV cables that you get with your Super Nintendo. And then of course on the bottom there's no expansion port, where they were gonna, Sony and Nintendo were gonna make a CD add-on attachment, Sony PlayStation. That never happened, allegedly. But yeah, so this is a pretty simple console to tear down, so let's just jump right into it. Alright, so there she is, the SNES Model 2. Let's talk about some tools that you're going to need. You're going to need a security bit set, specifically the one that is 4.5 millimeters. I actually got these in a set off of eBay for super cheap, so don't be afraid to buy those off of eBay. And also just a set of mini screwdrivers, just in case you need a Phillips. Alright, so when you turn this bad boy over, there's going to be 4 security bit screws. Boom, I've already removed those to save a little bit of time. Top should just come right off like that, and it should split into 2 pieces. You can see, look how dirty that is. Ew. We'll take off the usually when I work on consoles, I start with the top of the console and then worry about the bottom part of the console. So you see we got 3 screws right here. Let's take them out. Okay, we've taken the 3 screws out and we've placed them in the bin over there. This piece should just lift off. You can clean that. Now the cartridge slot doors will come out, but be careful, they've got little springs on them and these can come off, so just make sure that you're careful when you clean those. And then they only go back a certain way, so you can only put them back in a certain way. To get the power and the reset button off, there's little tabs. You kind of see them right there. You just squeeze and push down, squeeze and push down, and your buttons will come out the other side. Boom. Those are all plastic. You can clean those. The top part is all plastic. You can clean all of that. So that'll be good to go for cleaning. Let's take a look at the bottom part. Alright, so if I stand here, there's a glare. If I stand over here, there's not a glare. So we're actually going to turn the whole thing this way. Oh god, there's a glare. Anyway, in order to get this board assembly out, it's really only 7 screws. So there's 1, 2, 3, and 4. And those are just these standard brass screws. These 2 taller white screws, those come from either side of the cartridge port. So take those out. And then 1 screw that most people are going to miss right down here. There is another silver screw. But once all those are taken out, boom, the entire board and board assembly comes out. The bottom half, all plastic. You can wash that with soap and water. I would be careful of the stickers though. Don't use anything abrasive or like Mr. Clean's magic erasers on those. You can mess up your stickers. The heat shield should come right off since there's nothing holding it down. There we go. And there we go. We got an exposed board. This is metal. You can wash that. Now you actually can break this down further. If you want to take off this big piece of metal right here, there's actually 2 screws on the bottom. Boom and boom. We're not going to do that today. But you also have to remember that there is a screw right there. You can see connects that very little fragile piece. So make sure you take that out. And if you want to take this back assembly off, that's easy. There's another screw there and another screw there. You would just take those apart get that piece of metal and that plastic off, and then you would have an exposed board. You could wash the other 2 pieces. Like I said, we're not going to do that today. Let's get it back together. Alright, so we have everything put back together, including the cartridge slot and the power button. Those things just push right in. But one thing of note, if you have the power switch inside the console, you know, pushed down, and then the power button on the top part pushed up, it's not gonna sit properly. So you need to make sure that they're both in the same direction. So we'll put the power switch down on the bottom half, and that should just fall right into place right on top of there. Make sure it does a function check, make sure you get your clicky, and then all we have to do is just turn that over and put the security screws back in, and that is a complete Super Nintendo Model 101 Model 2 Teardown. Thanks for watching, and we will see you on the next one. Take care of yourselves.